Hello everybody. I just wanted to do a quick update and talk about shoes. So it's kind of a shoe thing, and then like I said, a quick update. So it's kind of hard because I find it a little boring to just like sit at home and tell you guys, okay, I'm still not hiking and this is why. But took the dogs out for exercise out in the woods today, and obviously I'm thinking about my feet quite a bit as I'm walking. So when I got off trail June 10th, everything was swollen. I really thought it was a striking issue, not enough padding in my shoe. So I went to a local store here and got Hoka Stinsons, which I really like, and I kept trying. So then I tried a couple to hike, either 15 or 11 miles, depending on what they were talking about, and just wasn't working, still having tremendous amounts of pain in my foot. So went through doctors, orthopedics, and all of that. So what it comes down to, very simply, is my foot, from my leg structure, my foot structure, so my hamstrings, my calves, my ankles, and like the way my foot is built, like with a high arch, all of that lends to me not using the flexion of my ankle, essentially, because everything's so tight in there. So really the remedy is stretching, and the orthopedist was like, you got to stretch 3 times a day. So that's what I've been doing this is day 3. So I, like today, I had coffee and visited with my wife, and then stretched, and then took the dogs out. So I'm trying to really establish this new routine where I'm hiking, or where I'm stretching for now 3 times a day. I'd like to get so limber enough that I can drop it down to 2 or even 1 time a day. But I'm committed to doing this because I really want to get back out on trail. Like this walk out here was really nice. I know you can hear they're panting. It's still warm out here, and it's just about 10 o'clock now. So going back to shoes. So let me finish the update. So I have a follow-up appointment. It's now like a week and a half away. My truest hope, because I have to have hope. I have to have something that I can look forward to and keep myself committed to my goals. So I have a follow-up appointment. What I want to hear then is that I have done everything that I need to do and I can safely walk, because he basically said, if I continue to walk the way I am right now with all tight and everything else, what I'm risking is more serious injury, like tearing something that's going to cause a lot of rehab. And that's kind of scared me straight to committing myself to doing the stretching. And I feel, it could be psychosomatic, it could be all in my head, but I feel like the stretching has already made a difference in the 3 days. I feel like during this walk, I was able to flex from my ankle a lot more. And it's interesting, as I was talking to him, I recognized that for years I've been basically, if I have to go down a steep step, like the granite steps in the hills, I turn my foot sideways and basically rotate my entire leg, and that's just not right. So I'm actually excited to do this and to see the results, because what he said was my hiking is going to be more pleasurable at the end of this thing. So the other problem that I'm having personally is that I'm pronating, so I think it's rotating inside way too much. And he looked at me like I obviously took my shoes with me, and he's like, you're pronating way too much. So I have to change the shoes yet again. So shoes, like in the comments section when I'm having all these problems, someone was recommending boots. And I just want to be clear. So when I started walking in the woods, and then I started day hiking, and then and when I say walking in the woods, I was exercising the dogs. Then when I started hiking, and then I started doing overnights, like I have changed my shoes and tried dozens of different kinds of shoes. I've also, in my past, hiked in the woods for different reasons. And I tried boots quite a bit, and I've had some of the worst foot issues with boots that I can't even, like falling off toenails, massive blisters, just all kinds of foot issues with all kinds of different boots. I've tried soft-soled boots. I've worn boots at work for years on concrete, and then, like I said, hiking. I've done like mid shoes. One year I actually hiked. I was a hunter, so I would hunt in morel slip-ons. I mean, it's just I've tried everything, and the Lone Peak Ultras were the best solution back then before I know what I know now. So now there's another brand that I'm going to try because a store was recommended in Reno. They're very good. Like they have the additional training and everything else, but there's a Swiss shoe called Zalero that I'm going to try. So what I do with products, and just to remind you, are, I think I've said this before, but if not, so I don't really do recommendations. Like I'll mention the equipment I'm buying and what I'm trying, but I am not endorsing anything because gear, especially stuff you're wearing on your body, you're depending on, is so personal. I just don't agree that I should ever recommend like this is the best X, because it's the best for you and your lifestyle and how you want to like do setup things if you're talking about like equipment that goes in a car. But I'll tell you what I'm trying and what I'm using. I have no problem with that. But what doesn't work for me or what works for me is not going to work for everybody. So you have to put in the time. So I have spent hundreds of dollars trying to find the right foot system. Now the socks, I've got that worked out. And I've mentioned before, I use the Injinji liners with the Injinji toe socks. They're both toe socks. And that works for me. I don't get blisters, like other than the really weird one when I first started hiking, but that was because I got a foreign object in my foot. So rarely do I get blisters. Now, have I had them? Yes. My foot swole up so much in my Lone Peak Ultras that my big toe actually rubbed a blister on the outside of the big toe. But that's that's going to happen. So I will continue to update you guys on what I'm doing. I know that some of you, because you've expressed it, are frustrated that I'm not out hiking. Believe me, I am extremely frustrated. I really, really, really want to go and do the Sierras this season. Of course, I've mentioned before, I've resigned myself to the fact that I won't be a through hiker. For those of you that don't know, so if you're not a through hiker, which means you don't do the entire trail in one season, one calendar year, then you're a section hiker, and it's called a LASH. It's a long ass section hiker, and that's basically what I'm going to be. And I can tell you now, I will never be a through hiker, because like to through hike the PCT legitimately and officially, I would have to redo the desert and finish the entire trail in one season. At least today, I will never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever hike that desert again. That's just ridiculous. That's dumb. Not going to do it. So I have accepted the fact that I'm a LASH, and that's okay. Now my big goal is to finish it. So I would love to be able to do the Sierras. I know in the back of my head, I actually was very disappointed when I found out it was the stretching. But I've resigned. Like I know in the back of my head that my season might be over, but I'm not willing to say that right now, because right today is August 9th. And so I do have enough time, plenty of time, to not worry about weather and get through the Sierras. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. That might not be in the cards for me this season, but I'm pretty certain that I can continue with this regimen. I can get healthy enough to resume next season at the worst case. So there's the update, and that's what I'm doing with shoes when I get those. So I had to order the shoes. They had the high tops, and that's another thing that I can't do personally. The high tops rub my ankle bones too much. Like, it doesn't matter what brand it is. It just doesn't work for me. The higher shoes don't. So the lower shoes are coming. They'll be here, I think, in a few days, and then I'll start hiking on those. And I'll give you guys an update on that when I do it. I am trying to keep you guys updated on what I'm doing. You guys have a great day.